National analyst Brandon Marcello here to tell us who are the contenders and who are the pretenders. And you have to be 100% right about all of this because it's week 6 and we already know who all of these teams are. But let's go ahead and start with the highest ranked team, and that is number 17, BYU. I will ask you this question. Are they a contender or a pretender?
I think they're a contender, but they're not maybe in the top 2 or 3 options there, just based off the schedule alone. Gigantic win against Kansas State earlier. They won the middle 8, scoring 31 points in a 6.5-minute span because of turnovers. But they play disciplined football, which is what you expect BYU to play. They've had the emergence of a freshman running back in place of some injuries there that really got them revved up as well. And they just have what it takes to get things done in the fourth quarter of tight games. So we've seen them be able to play against some really tough competition and then respond on the road at a place like Baylor to be able to get things done. But you look at their remaining schedule, it's very difficult. They've got 2 huge games coming up near the end of the schedule. They have to go to Utah, of course, their rival. And then also they've got Oklahoma State still on the schedule as well. And I know Oklahoma State's got 2 early losses here early, but that's one of the more veteran teams of all of college football. And they're playing on the road in the position there to upset some people, and Mike Gundy thrives on that. So BYU, very difficult schedule coming up.
Well, thankfully they are on a bye this week, so time to rest and recover before the finish, which looks to be very challenging. Elsewhere in the Big 12, we've got Iowa State as another ranked team. Contender, pretender?
Oh, they're definitely a contender.
Okay.
Again, a very veteran team, a lot of production that returned from last year, and it's all panning out. I love the way they responded when they were down 13-0 at Iowa against their rival for the Cy-Hawk. They've got a pretty good schedule coming up. Their toughest game is at Utah, but do we know if Cam Rising is going to be back at quarterback? That's a big question. They get Kansas State at home, and they get Texas Tech at home. So we're talking about top contenders. Those are some of my top contenders in the Big 12, and they get 2 of the 3 at home. And Iowa State, as I said, very veteran, very good. They've got their first shutout win in conference in years. They're about to maybe start 5-0 for the first time since 1980. They've got things rolling there because they know how to win with a veteran roster.
I lied. Iowa State is actually the highest ranked Big 12 team at 16. I did the math. 16 is a higher ranked seed than 17. They currently play Baylor, so they've got a test in the Big 12, a chance to go 2-0 in conference. Let's move on to Kansas State. They are ranked 20th. Are they a contender or are they a pretender?
Yeah, I think that loss to BYU was a blip. That middle 8 against BYU on the road was some of the craziest things you'll ever see. They got outscored 31-0. They had to fight back, doing things outside of their norm, having to throw the ball a little bit more often than they wanted to, and then they weren't converting on 3rd and 4th downs on the road. So that's a loss, of course, but I don't chalk it up as something as a big kind of red flag for them coming up. Their schedule's pretty tough, but the road games that are tough are all winnable. At Colorado, at West Virginia, which likes to play a lot of one-possession games. But the big one there on the docket is going to Iowa State. That's a gigantic test, and I think potentially that's the game that might end up deciding the Big 12 between those 2. But Kansas State, I love Avery Johnson, what he's doing at quarterback. They've got a stacked backfield at running back, and they've got some pretty good receivers. The defense has got to step up at times, but I really like Kansas State. That loss to BYU didn't really change a lot of my thinking on the Wildcats.
It was a weird game. Provo at night is always a challenging place to play, as evident by that game, but certainly they are still in contention for the Big 12. Let's go to number 18, Utah. You mentioned we don't know what's happening at the quarterback situation. So first off, of course, I'm going to ask you contender or pretender, but how much is your answer contingent upon who's under center?
I'm going to say pre-contender.
Okay.
Because when they've got Cam Rising out there at quarterback, they're a completely different team. And are we going to get him back? You know, Kyle Whittingham's been the best at hiding injuries or being very vague about how serious an injury is. He somehow got a lot of us believing that Cam Rising might even play last season when he was obviously out for a year and a half. And then now Cam Rising's hand is still wrapped up or trying to figure out if he's going to play or not. If he plays, they're, to me, the favorite in the Big 12. If he doesn't, they're still involved because of that great defense, but I don't quite know what to expect from them offensively week to week. They're going to be a low-scoring team, but are they going to do enough on the road to be able to win some games? And they've got two really good teams on the road still coming up. They have to go to Colorado, which if they were to get into a shootout there, they don't have much of a shot. And then they have to go to UCF, which has one of the top rushing offenses in the country. And if that gets going, that opens up so much more for them, and that could potentially be a loss. So Utah, much different with Cam Rising. In fact, I dropped them like 19 spots in my rankings this past week because they are just completely different without him. And we saw it this past week against Arizona at home.
Quick pause before we move on to the next one. You said that Utah is your favorite in the Big 12 if Cam Rising is playing. If he's not playing, who's your favorite?
I would probably say Iowa State at this point. Like I said, very veteran roster. I love the way the schedule sets up for them. Two of the three top contenders in the Big 12 they get at home, Texas Tech and also Kansas State, and they have to go to Utah. But I like that schedule for them.
All right, so those are all the ranked teams in the Big 12, but there's two more teams who are 2-0 right now. We should mention them. That's Colorado and Texas Tech. So let's lump them together. Are these contenders or are these pretenders?
I think Colorado will obviously learn a lot about Saturday because they get Kansas State at home. That's a winnable game. If they win that, they are going to be a contender. UCF is very one-dimensional. They blew them out on the road, but they slowed the running game, which was very impressive by that Colorado defense, but they couldn't do anything passing-wise for UCF. So Colorado was able to blow them out. They got a very difficult schedule. They still got Kansas State this weekend, Arizona, Texas Tech, Utah, and Oklahoma State. Toughest schedule of all these contender or pretenders we're talking about today. Texas Tech, very inconsistent defensively. They can score points with the best of them. They got very tough games on the road. Arizona, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. If I wanted to pick one of those two right now that could contend, I'd say Colorado, because they've shown to me that they can slow some teams defensively, which is a big, big development for them after what we saw last season.
Colorado on a bye this week, and next up for Texas Tech, they are playing Arizona. So that should be a big matchup in the Big 12. Brandon Marcello, thank you so much for breaking that down for us.